In this video, I want to show you how to set up a domain controller in Windows Server 2019. So as you can see, I'm logged into the Windows Server 2019 desktop, and I'm going to go ahead and open Server Manager. Now the process of setting up a domain controller is really similar to what you had in the previous Windows Server version, so this should look familiar. I'll go ahead and go up to Manage, and then I'm going to select Add Roles and Features. This is going to launch the Add Roles and Features wizard. I'll click Next to bypass the Before You Begin screen. Now I'm taken to the Installation Type screen, and you can see that I'm prompted to choose Role-Based or Feature-Based Installation or Remote Desktop Services Installation. I'll choose the Role-Based or Feature-Based Installation option and click Next. Now I'm prompted to select my server from the pool. There's only one server in here. This is the server that I'm working off of that will become my domain controller. And one thing that I want to point out is take a look at the operating system. This is Windows Server 2019 Data Center Edition. And in a few minutes you'll see why I'm pointing this out. I'll go ahead and click Next. And now I'm taken to the server roles screen. There are two roles that I want to install, the Active Directory Domain Services and the DNS role. So I'll go ahead and select the checkbox for Active Directory Domain Services. And when I select that checkbox, I'm prompted to add some additional features. I'll go ahead and select the Add Features button. And then I'm also going to select the DNS server checkbox. And once again, I'm going to click on Add Features. I'll click Next. And I'll click Next on the Features screen. And I'll click Next again, and I'm taken to the confirmation screen. It's a good idea to take a moment and just review everything on the confirmation screen to make sure that it appears to be correct, which it does. I'll click Install. And after a few minutes, the installation completes. Now, I should go ahead and point out that the server was provisioned ahead of time with a static IP address. If you don't do that, you're going to get a warning message during the installation wizard. So let's go ahead and click Close. And then the next thing that we need to do is to configure this to act as a domain controller. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and click on the notifications icon. And you can see that there's a post-deployment configuration task that's required. In this case, promote the server to a domain controller. So let's go ahead and do that by clicking on this link. And this is going to open the Active Directory Domain Services Configuration Wizard. I'm going to create a new forest, so I'll click the Add a New Forest button. And I'm going to call this forest posylab.com. I'll click Next. And then on the domain controller operations screen, you'll notice that the forest functional level is set to Windows Server 2016. There is no Windows Server 2019 option, at least not yet. That's the reason that I pointed out earlier that we are indeed running on Windows Server 2019. So I'm going to leave this set to Windows Server 2016, and I'm going to leave the default selections on the domain controller capabilities. And then I need to enter and confirm a password, so I'll go ahead and do that now. I'll click Next, and I'll click Next again, and the NetBIOS domain name is populated automatically. I'll click Next. I'll go with the default path and click Next. And everything on the option screen appears to be correct, so I'll click Next again. And now Windows will do a prerequisite check. And so we have a couple of warnings on the prerequisite check screen, but all of the prerequisite checks completed successfully, so we can go ahead and promote the server to a domain controller. And to do that, I'll click Install. And this is going to begin the installation process. So after a few minutes, the Active Directory Domain Services role and the DNS server roles were configured. You can see both of those listed in Server Manager right here, and the server rebooted automatically. So what you're seeing here is the server post-reboot after login. So let's go ahead and switch over to a Windows 10 machine and make sure that we can connect that machine to the domain. So here I am on a Windows 10 machine, and I've already configured this machine to recognize the DNS server that resides on our Active Directory domain controller. So let's go ahead and connect Windows 10 to the Active Directory domain. I'm going to click on the Start button and go to Settings. And then from there, I'm going to go to Accounts. And then I'll click on Work or School. Connect. And then I'll choose the option to join this device to a local Active Directory domain. I'm prompted for the domain name, which is posylab.com. I'll click Next. I'm prompted for the administrative name and password. Now I'm prompted to choose my account type and account name. I'll click Next and Restart Now. And once the machine restarts, I'm prompted to log into the domain. So that's how you set up an Active Directory domain controller in Windows Server 2019.